to another Friday night. Today or tonight, I have a person named Katie. How's it going, Katie?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. So tell me about yourself. How old are you?
I'm 54.
And where are you located?
In a big city up in the northeast of the States.
And tell me, Katie, what is your first experience where people were reacting to you, or what type of condition do you think that you have?
um, well, it's definitely a TMAU symptom like. I'm not sure if I actually have TMAU, but I first got reactions in college. Then at the same time, when I would leave school and do a part-time job, then there. That's
So,
when I realized something was wrong.
what age were you when you first started getting
Um,
reactions?
I was, let me see. The symptoms started around the age of 33.
Oh, so you went to college at 33?
Yeah, I went to school later. Yes.
Hmm, interesting. And can you recall anything possibly that was happening at that time, or anything maybe like weird that happened before you started noticing people reacting to you? Like maybe you felt sick, maybe there was a time where, I don't know, you had the flu or food poisoning or anything?
So, like some other people, I thought or I think it possibly could be antibiotic use. Um, at the age of 24, which is quite a few years from 33, but there was about 2 years where I was using erythromycin and Seldane for severe allergies that I had to a cat that was living in our home.
Mm,
And it just didn't, the antibiotics after 2 years didn't work. I ended up getting a tonsillectomy because the infection was so bad. But erythromycin is an antibiotic that is a gut motility stimulator. It does a lot of things to the gut. So I often wondered if maybe it just sort of like was there laying dormant, but
mm,
then um, when the symptoms really kicked in was I took a fertility drug,
mm.
a Clomid fertility drug, and it was within a week or two of taking that drug when the symptoms, I could feel like my eyes drying, my nose drying, my mouth drying, and then it just went down like my esophagus to my stomach. My digestion started to change, my
Wow.
bowels, everything started to change. Yeah.
So this fertility drug really messed with your system. Did you talk to
So
like a doctor about it? And what did,
I went to a lot of doctors. Every one of them said there's no side effects to the Clomid. There's no way it could do what you're saying that it's doing. And then you know how you go through that period of like I had a lot of years where I was just like, am I crazy? Like, is
Mhm.
it me? Like I'm just starting. Did I? Is it me? Is it they sniffing? Am I like,
Right.
I went through all that. You know what I mean? And then I was reading. I think it was about 8 or 10 years ago, a Dr. Oz magazine, and he said when you have like severe bad breath or body odor, there's this thing called TMAU, and that's when
Mm.
I started researching online. I only found a little bit, but I realized, like, oh my God, like it's something on that end. It's something on that end of, yeah.
I do want to ask you about the fertility thing. So you took the fertility drugs at 24?
I took at 24 is when I took the antibiotics, and I ended up having a tonsillectomy at 26. I did the Clomid drug at 33, and the
Mhm.
symptoms actually kicked in at 33.
And when you say symptoms are just reactions, um, was it just like people holding their nose or sniffling, or did
The
people make
sniffling,
comments?
mostly sniffling, and then the one teacher said actually made a comment like somebody is having a hygiene issue in this classroom, and he was looking directly at me. And
Wow.
I'm like, oh, okay, so, let me not bring my coffee in here anymore. Like maybe it's making me
Mm,
smell. But then the part-time job that I would go to directly following school, the same thing was happening there. The people around me were, like sneezing, coughing, sniffing, and I'm just like, oh my God, like something's wrong.
hmm.
So the first family member that I asked was my husband. I said, I was at the computer and I was trying to show him something, and he came up behind me and he was leaning over and he started sniffling. And I'm like, hey, like, that's happening at school and work. Like, do you smell something? Because I don't smell anything. And he said no.
Mm.
And that started the whole, I kind of knew that he was lying because I'm like,
Oh,
when
so
someone,
you found
yeah,
out
like,
eventually that he was lying to you?
well, I mean, he's never really come clean about it. We've been married for a really long time, but like at that time, like, when there's like awkwardness, it's kind of like, I guess like he doesn't want to hurt my feelings. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, he's like, no, like, no, what I'm
Mm.
trying to, yeah. And I'm just like, yeah.
Well, have you ever considered that you possibly might have like PATM more so than
Right
TMAU?
now, yes, and I've been reading that on the Rare Connect. I don't really understand it, but yes, it's like I feel like it's something in that arena. It's something bigger than me trying to take supplements, or I've had two colonoscopies, two endoscopes, a lower GI, upper GI. I've had it all, and there's never an answer.
Well, have when you went to doctors, have they ever reacted to you, or has anyone ever believed your story?
No,
No.
no, no.
Hmm.
I think my daughters, like, I try to talk to them about it. I think they're so afraid of it, they don't really want to have a conversation, but I think they understand. I think when I have tried to talk to them about it, especially when I started to see the younger one being symptomatic. So, but they don't really have a conversation with me. They've just kind of heard me.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, I do want to ask you, like, when you were doing college years, was it hard for you to complete it, or
I didn't
was
finish. I was shy of like 2 years of my degree, and I actually wanted to go on to do something that's called like cytotechnology at a bigger university. It's kind of like where you study cells under the microscope. And I just quit. Like it was so devastating to me that I knew something was wrong and I couldn't fix it. I swear I had like a mini nervous breakdown,
mm,
like just trying to figure out, like, washing the clothes, scrubbing my body, scrubbing my teeth so hard that I took the enamel off the first three teeth. Like, I don't, this disease is so, or these symptoms are so difficult, like emotionally, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, emotionally, it's worse than the physical part of it, for real.
yeah, because it's not really painful. It's just like when people make comments about you, it yeah, it just bothers you. It makes you like question, sort of like lowers your self-esteem, and also
Yes,
within your family, like they deny it, so then it makes you feel crazy and also makes you feel isolated. It's a
yes,
weird experience to have. But I do
yes,
have a question from the chat from Harden54, and she asked you, does Katie still have reactions from people now?
yes, yes. I'm more isolated now. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I'm able to control a lot of things. But yeah, I get sniffs right at the supermarket, the school when I have to go to school, for the kids. Like, yeah, yeah,
Hmm. And within that, going back to the fertility drug, because it seems like that was the trigger that
yep.
caused you to have this condition. Have you ever like thoroughly researched it and see if there was any?
There's not a lot on it related to this type of thing, but it is an estrogen kind of treatment. It is a hormonal treatment. And so when I started to see people posted on Rare Connect that, it started at puberty and, the hormones, like I definitely connect to that because up to that point, I don't ever remember anybody ever saying that like I smelled or like I don't ever remember having any reactions from anybody ever.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
Right. So I thought maybe if the antibiotics messed with, how do you say, microbiome, how, and so like maybe there's like a dormant kind of thing there in my small intestine, right? When I take this hormonal medicine, it like knocks it off. It sets off whatever sort of like, I don't know how to say it. Like I don't. That's what it feels like to me. Like maybe that's the history of it. If it's not genetic.
Hmm. Well, I got a couple of questions from the chat. One is from Liz Sunshine, and she asks, "Has she ever smelled herself?"
A handful of times. Not very often. No.
And what is the aroma or scent or odor?
Um, like if I'm sleeping, and I wake up, like I can, how you smell like your bad breath, I can smell that. There were a couple times where I can smell like, I don't know how you would say it, like garbage, maybe like a
Mhm.
musty garbage kind of thing. But
But
it's like in a passing, like I have to be moving. It's like
mhm.
yeah. It's not like if I'm just sitting, I don't know why, but I can't smell myself.
And is there anything that you noticed made your reactions worse, or people reacted more because you did certain things? Maybe you ate certain foods. Maybe you, I don't know, did
Yeah,
something.
like, yeah, some of the foods that you guys talk about on here, I know that it does make it worse. I've given up dairy. The first thing I noticed about the dairy is, no, not that it took the smell away or anything, but like I lost over 15 pounds and my stomach, I didn't realize that it was extended. It like, it's like, I guess it was in a constant state of bloat.
Mm.
Eggs, bad. Like I can't. That's off a smell. I don't
Wow.
eat eggs.
So you're saying that when you just stopped taking dairy, you lost 15 pounds?
My stomach was, yeah, it was all on my stomach. I was 150 pounds. When I gave, now I didn't give up dairy. I don't want to say I gave it up completely because, like, what I would do in the morning is have like a bowl of raisin bran with almond milk and maybe a little bit of creamer in my coffee and maybe a bowl of ice cream from time to time. I don't do that anymore. But like I don't mind having like a slice of pizza and if there's cheese on it, I'm not gonna be like, oh no.
Right.
Like all right. So when I did that with the dairy, when I cut those things out that were like pretty routine for me, like a bowl of raisin bran, I could do that every day, right? With
Hmm.
the almond milk. Um, I just stopped and within a month I dropped 15 pounds and my stomach, it just, I don't know how to explain it, like it just went down. It was extended out and I guess I was so used to it I didn't really pay attention, but it was also kind of hard. Like it was kind of hard.
Like, so when you did consume milk, your stomach was hardened?
Yes.
And you went to a gastroenterologist before this time and they checked you out and they didn't see any problems?
So the only response that I got, well, two different times I should say. When I had in the beginning of all of this, when I was 33, I went for a lower GI. I did the upper GI first, nothing. The lower GI, the people had me turned upside down on the table. They were trying to make, I guess, the dye move. And for some reason, they saw something. So they left me upside down. They called some doctor in the room, and she's looking and she says, no. and leaves. So they take me off the table. I go and throw up. And I come back and I'm like, so what? And he's like, well, we thought we saw something, but she ruled it out.
And then,
So the main doctor ruled it out as if, so they gave me nothing. And then the other time was when I had an endoscope. This is so crazy. I had two endoscopes. The first one I had down in Florida, they found esophagitis.
what is that?
Barrett's, I have like a precursor to Barrett syndrome. It's something to do with where your esophagus is not like functioning properly. It can be dangerous. Let's see, gastritis, reflux, and a hernia, right? So I come home and I wait about 6 months. I'm like, I'm going to have another one just to get a second opinion and see what I need to do about all this stuff. I get it done, and she says, you don't have any of that. I don't see any of that.
Mm.
So I just let it go. I'm just like, I never felt the reflux. They thought I had, like a lot of stuff going on in my chest area when they did it. And I didn't, I'm like, oh, okay. But I didn't have those symptoms.
So one doctor said that you had all these types of diseases, and then you
Yes,
went to
like
another doctor and they looked into it and they said you don't have any of those
I
types.
didn't have any of it. Right.
Hmm. But do you feel like I don't know what like the symptoms of gastritis is. I've heard
Yeah,
about
see,
gastritis.
a lot of people would have to take, like, say, like you get a tightness in your chest and you have to belch, and you have reflux, like you got a tightness in your chest all the time. I didn't really have any of that. So when I was done, I was surprised when they were like coming out with all these things. I was just like, oh, I'm trying to find out like why my mouth is dry and my nose is dry, and like, is there something going on digestively, because all of this stuff happened up here. I thought it was like my saliva glands, and then it just kind of moved down the esophagus into my digestive tract. So I wasn't feeling like I had some sort of digestive issues. I felt like when the Clomid, I actually kept a diary on it, because about a week after the Clomid, is the first symptom was my eyes drying, then my nose dried, then my mouth dried, and then my throat, and then like by the second week I'm writing, my food's not going down like the way it normally. I could feel like I would chew my food and then I would swallow, and it was like dry, like it wasn't smoothly going down anymore. And then of course everything else changed. Trying to go to the bathroom wasn't the same anymore. So the Clomid definitely did do something. What was off before the Clomid, I don't know. I have a sibling who also took Clomid and did not have any of these issues.
Hmm.
That's why I blame the antibiotics. But I will say, genetically, my mother died at the age of 51 from a neurological disease that's rare. And years later, I had done some research online and found out that there's other people with this disease, and they believe it's from arsenic poisoning.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know I had five siblings and none of them have what I have. My mother did, though, have stinky feet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. So and it wasn't so she had a odor speed, and do you feel like maybe she passed this weird condition on to you?
I mean, if it's not the antibiotics, it's like this is what I teeter totter. Like, on one hand, could it be the antibiotics that threw stuff off before the Clomid went in? Or is it something genetic? And I really do have TMAU, and, but she would be the only one I could relate that to, because I don't remember anybody else in my house having a problem. But her feet would be like, you talked about your friend that one time where he would take his shoes off in the room. It would be the same for her. If she took her shoes off, she put her slippers on after work because she would stink the whole house up.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there's other questions in the chat. One of them from Beautiful Brown Chick, and she asks, "Do her children have issues with body odor?"
Just my younger one. Yes.
Um, how many children do you have?
Two.
You
Two
have two.
girls.
So the younger one has body odor issues,
Yes.
and the other one doesn't at all. And
Not that I noticed. No.
I guess your children never reacted to you, or do you feel like they can detect it?
Well, you know what? Like, you know how it becomes sensitive to like the nose rub? Um, I see a lot of that, but I think in some way, like my husband kind of like, I don't know if he's ever really talked to them about it, but like it almost kind of feels like let's not hurt mom's feelings. Like,
Mm,
you know what? I could be wrong because you know how this thing can make you paranoid, but
yeah.
that's what it feels like to me. Like it feels like, there's a consensus, but like we're just not going to bring it to the surface.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, I never had like a serious partner, but I find it very odd that someone wouldn't just admit that you smell bad, especially since you have
One
very traumatic
time,
experiences.
right. So one time, not long after the antibiotics, he did tell me, your breath is bad. He said it so in passing that like I didn't even really take it seriously. I like we were like driving somewhere in the car. It wasn't like, but he's very much like that. Like he doesn't like to talk about things that are like, uh, you know,
Insult.
emotions, make a person feel bad. Like in every other area of his life, it's very much like that. So I know it sounds weird because I've had it for a long time. I don't think it's severe, right? So maybe that's another reason why it kind of gets under the carpet, like, but it's persistent.
Mm. Because I was gonna ask you, do you feel like this condition is intermittent? Like sometimes you just don't have it at all. Like there's days where people don't react, and then there's others where it just gets extreme or worse.
So I don't think it's intermittent. I think like what happens with me is I'll like if I have something to do, I'll do my charcoal and I won't eat. I just won't eat. Like I've gone 8, 9, 10 hours with, and I get migraines from it, but I won't eat
Oh,
because
so you do intermittent fasting, or you just don't eat throughout the
well, I
whole
mean,
day?
you could call it fasting, but I'm basically starving myself because if I have to do something, like I'm not trying to like, make it any worse than what it already is. If I eat within an hour or two, my symptoms start.
Mm, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I almost can tell because my mouth is dry. I don't know if anybody else has this, but my saliva glands, I feel like don't function properly. Like my, there's always a coating and it's always dry. My nose is dry. My nose is like, when I clean my nose in the morning, it's like I have to put Q-tips up there. There's like, it's not like I can't blow it out, and it's not your normal green. It's like, whitish, yellowish. There's definitely like a yeasty kind of something happening.
Hmm. Have you ever tested yourself for candida, or have you ever had like symptoms like having oral thrush?
Yes, I do have some of that. I have taken candida supplements and I didn't get any relief. But it was like, like say, I don't know, 30 or 60 pills, whatever it was. But I'm just learning now through this YouTube and the Rare Connect how important it is to like with the diet. And I want to say probably it's been in the past 6 months that I've really like I'm trying hard to like, not eat certain things.
Hmm.
So even though I've done sauna for 2 years straight, where it was 100 to 150 degrees for an hour, um, to, like drink a liter of water and try to sweat everything out. and still after a shower you smell.
Mm.
So I've done acupuncture for 10 years, trying to work on the digestive, like nothing. Like I've done a lot of things and I have not really gotten any relief. I feel like maybe by changing the diet, I might get some relief, but I do think this is probably going to take a pill or some sort of intervention for us to really be able to have a cure. I think we're always just going to try to maintain.
I got a question. So about acupuncture,
Mhm.
what is it supposed to do exactly? I've heard about it, but like how like what is its function? Like is it supposed to detox your body? Like I don't understand.
So acupuncture does a lot of things. It's for like I was using it for several things because I told you like I really thought I was having like a mini nervous breakdown. So I was using it for anxiety. I was using it for depression. I was using it for digestion. Um, so I would go and it would be about a 45-minute treatment. I would lay on my back, and so the top would be treated first. So in Chinese medicine, like when you're working on your digestive, it's not necessarily in your belly that the needles go. They can be in your arms, they could be in your legs. Like there's meridians that they work with to actually, and I would get relief sometimes, like, better BMs or,
Hmm.
I never got relief from like the symptomatic smell stuff. I hate to keep saying TMAU because I'm not diagnosed, but those type of symptoms, I never got any relief.
Now, is there actually like confirmed evidence that acupuncture works, or is this still like some
I
mystical
mean,
to it?
I
Like,
you know I will say this. Like when I read some of the posts where people are feeling like they want to check out, um, you know, I've had like some pretty bad, sad times, but I think because I've had the acupuncture for 10 years like that, I've never really gone to that place. Like I felt sad because I was helpless, but like when I read those posts, it breaks my heart. It really does because I feel like we're stuck.
mm,
It's like, we're trying to do everything that we can do. And it's like, trying to get help when we can't get help, taking this supplement, try this food, try that food, try this exercise, it's like, and you still don't get a solution.
right.
So I do think acupuncture helped me in the sense of like anxiety, um, sadness, focus. Um, Yeah, and a little bit digestive, like a little bit. Not the way I hoped.
I do want to ask you this, since you tried Chinese medicine, have you ever did meditation, and has that helped
I've
you if
tried
you
that.
ever tried it?
Yeah, I've tried meditation. I've tried yoga. Meditation's really a great thing. I get in and out of it. I really wish I would stay with it more. It's definitely can help you focus on, when you start your day and you think about like, okay, how do I want this day to go? Right? Because we can't control all the people around us and all the other things that are going to happen. So when you kind of talk to yourself about it before you start your day, it's like you put that feel out there like, you know what? I'm human. This is me. This is um I can't change, It's sort of like sometimes we like go out and we like have a false sense of reality, like, oh, it's going to be a great day, Then we
Hmm.
get on that bus and everybody on the bus is reacting, and it's like,
Yeah.
ah, you know.
Hmm. I do. Well, let me read some of the questions from the chat. Two questions from Liz Sunshine. One is, what smell does it come out like? Um, and the second question, has she tried anything to help the other odor?
Um, so I don't really know what the smells are because I can't smell myself. Um, the this I've done a lot. I mostly work with essential oils. I'll take a couple drops, I'll put it on a tissue in a cotton ball, I put it in my pocket. If I am somewhere and it has to be like an elevator kind of feel, I will put my hand in my pocket to make the oil spread out a little bit. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like that versus perfume, I get less, I want to say a little bit less reaction. I don't know if it's masking it or if it's absorbing it, but the essential oils help. I found this crazy vanilla bean TMAU. It's out from Seismic Blends. I don't know if you guys seen it or not. I think it's very temporary. Uh,
Seismic blends.
yeah, they actually put a TMAU label on it. But like when I put it on, my daughter's like, "Oh, that smells good," But I still get reactions like an hour later. Like I still notice that people are reacting. So I think it's very very temporary. Did you
So
see it?
seismic blends is some company.
Here, let me see if I can.
Because I'm looking at. Hold on a second here.
SEISMIC.
Uh,
It
ye-
says vanilla bean specialized TMAU formula.
yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I just want to share the screen, so if anybody else wants to look into it, hold on a second here. Seismic blend. It's funny because when I actually looked it up, it says TMAU is our main focus. Um, Hold on. Let me see if I can share this so people can see this. Okay, so trimethylmaniuria is a metabolic disorder that occurs when the body is unable to break down certain nitrogen-containing compounds, such as trimethylamine. Trimethylamine, which has sufficient odor, is produced in the intestines when certain types of food are digested. As trimethylamine begins to accumulate in the body, it is released in the sweat, urine, reproductive fluids, and breath. This leads to the characteristic of trimethylmaniuria. Affected individuals do not have other health problems related to the condition, but the unpleasant odor can result in social and psychological problems. Trimethylmaniuria seems to be more common in women. Researchers think that this may be due to higher hormone levels aggravating symptoms of the disorder. That's interesting. Because I know more women do have this, but I didn't hear the story.
I definitely think hormones have something to do with it. Every time I read another puberty case, I'm just like, oh, dear God, dear God, dear God, why can't they figure this out?
Right. And it's interesting because I never heard of this. So they specialize in just creating these, I guess, lotions or creams to mask the
Yeah.
odor.
I mean, I would love other people to try it just to see because I think I'm still getting reaction, but, be great if some other people could try it out and tell me,
Well, I'm putting the link in the chat if anybody wants to see that. But yeah, I did want to ask you this. When did you have your first child? At what age?
34.
Okay, at 34. And even when they were small, did they ever react to you? Like when they were like 3 or 4 or whatever young kid age, have they ever react to you?
I think over the years, my symptoms have gotten worse. Early on, I drank water like crazy because, like, when I told you, like, my mouth and my nose and all were dry, I would drink a lot of water. And I think I was less symptomatic then. Um, but yes, I mean, when she was a baby, I can remember, like, my family, my in laws, other people, still reacting to me.
Hmm. And I wanted to ask you, so I wanted you to continue your story. Like, so at 33, that's when you first started seeing reactions. And then like you said you were a couple of weeks away from graduating and you just quit.
Yeah, I guess I went back around 31, I guess. I had been working full time right out of high school and decided that I didn't want to do accounting work anymore, and, was trying to get into another field. And so, I went to school late. So I guess it was around 30, 31, something like that. I was like a couple classes shy of getting a degree, an associate's degree. I needed that to get into the next program, which was another 3 years. But um, I just couldn't take it. Like I was just like trying to figure out so hard, like what's happening. Like,
Hmm.
yeah.
And what was like your next steps after you quit? Did you like before you even thought of it? I'm pretty sure you were thinking about it like for a long period of time. You probably were discussing it with your family members. Um,
Not really.
oh no?
No, I didn't really discuss it because I just kind of felt like after I asked my husband, he was like, no. I asked a couple of my siblings, they're like, no. But it just felt like to me like it wasn't sincere. Like it wasn't like, I just felt like they were really not trying to hurt my feelings. That's what it felt like. Not mean, like they weren't being mean. It just felt like, like when you say, how's my hair look? Or how's this shirt look? It's kind of like that, it's okay. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, yeah, I just was like, okay, you're crazy. Like, there's something wrong with you. You're just imagining all of this. Literally, even when I got pregnant, like I was only a year later, and I'm thinking to myself, what was that? Like, what was happening to me? Even though it was still happening, I think I thought it was over, like it was going to end. Um,
Hmm.
but no, it didn't. It's still through the pregnancy and, after the pregnancy. And now being in early menopause, I feel like it's even worse, which I've read some other cases, they have gotten worse.
Yeah, and I've heard stories like when people get pregnant or when women get pregnant, they start getting these symptoms or just getting odor or bad breath or whatever. So I was curious to ask you, like, since you had two kids, do you feel like after the pregnancy or I guess once you got pregnant, did the odor get extreme or worse?
I I don't know. I don't, because I can't smell myself.
Right.
I do know, like in the last few years, it's gotten worse.
Hmm.
I'm very reactive now. I think I used to be able to like fill myself out with water and, you know, I don't know. I just feel like now it's more hormonal. It's something that like the water's not even trying to mask or, even, get an hour or two of like no smell, because I'm filled with water and I've showered and, I took my charcoal and, I don't know. It doesn't seem like I'm getting much relief.
Mm. And I also wanted to ask you, since you still have you still have these symptoms of your eyes being dry and
Oh,
your
yeah.
throat and stuff. What
Yep.
have you went to the ENT
Oh, I've
or
been to a
what type
couple
of doctors
ENT.
have you went to for that?
Yeah, I went to those. Nothing. They don't see anything, and I'm like telling them, "There's my nose is not normal. It's that's got to be like candida yeast bacteria. Like it's not normal for it to look like that." Well, sometimes it looks like that.
Hmm.
I'm not no answers with that either.
Hmm. That's crazy.
So now I just wanted to talk a little bit about like because I don't know if anybody's followed me on Rare Connect, but like um, I didn't realize how important the diet was. Like, I'm just learning this. And so I'm on this celery ban thing with everybody else that's using it for like eczema and acne and all kinds of other stuff. Um, it has like HCl and it has something called sodium cluster salts. And so it builds the HCl, is what I guess I should say. And so I've been doing it for about, I don't know, 5, 6 months now. You drink you juice a bunch a celery, a stalk of a bunch of celery, like I guess there's what
Yeah,
like
selling. Hmm.
yeah, and then I juice it down and then I drink that. The protocol is to drink it every morning on an empty stomach. And I did that for about 3 months. And now I just drink it like if I don't drink it first thing in the morning, I'll drink it away from food. Only because my juicer is so loud, I wake everybody up. So I do try to wait, you know, to drink it. And so I don't know how other people feel about this, but like, how like, we all are so worried about the sugars, like, oh my God, we can't eat this because it has sugars and we can't eat that. I think one thing that we're missing as far as like not a cure, but trying to maintain is all the other stuff. Like, okay, so oranges, it has sugar in it, but like if I'm juicing my own oranges, I'm getting my vitamin C, I'm getting all the other things that are, that's in that fruit. I'm not happy about the sugar, but I'll take it because I kind of feel like I'm trying to eat stuff that has like zero nutrition in so I don't smell.
Right.
But I'm thinking now, like, I got the celery book and I started with the celery. Then I added in, like, my routine is every day celery, um, about 4 to 5 oranges I juice every day. I'll try to add a pineapple in around dinner time. And I'm now moving on to other things like potatoes and grapes.
Wait, you're juicing potatoes?
I won't be juicing them. I'll be boiling those. But so the idea is I'm trying to use these foods to heal my gut,
Mm-hmm.
and I think one of the things now, I don't know if we're wrong in doing what we're doing, but I think, like, okay, so if we eat asparagus, it's really really bad, and certain things that we know we're just not going to touch, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
touch an egg. I will never ever eat an egg again, ever. But
Have you had bad experience with eggs, like or just the typical
I
food
can't.
or TMAU,
The
like
Yeah. Oh
eggs?
yeah. The
Okay.
eggs are bad. Eggs are really bad for me. Like I just, yeah, the reaction is really bad. But then I since learned, like, we're worried about the antibiotics and all this in the eggs, but like they're always going to have hormones in them, and like I think this is could be hormone based. I ain't trying to mess it up any worse, So I'm not never touching an egg again.
Well, you can always get like I don't want to say, I think they're called pasteurized, or I don't know if you're supposed to get pasteurized or unpasteurized eggs where they don't have hormones injected into them. Or you can, if you're talking about, if we think about meat, you can get like grass-fed meat, or I think they're called
That's
free
the
range
next thing.
eggs too.
That's the next thing I think I like to try to give up, because I also feel like, when we think, not that like, I mean, I'm not saying that the government's lying and it's not organic, but like, I don't know. Like, we know that they're being fed antibiotics. We know that there's, what do you say, like, how do they use like a methane gas kind of thing, like, and so then we're buying this food, and then we're eating what the animals are being treated with, and then we expect not to have a reaction. Like, I don't think it's helping us any. My goal is to eventually to move away from it. I do chicken, I do turkey, I do very very little meat at all. I've had some hot dogs this summer, but
Right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that you don't even for like organic food, you don't necessarily know if like these grass-fed beef is really grass-fed, or are they are they just pretty much the same as these like not industrial, but the typical beef that you get where they're all locked in a cage and they're pumped
right.
with antibiotics in order to prevent any type of sickness they have. You don't know the difference. All you know is that they say, "Oh, this is organic and this is grass-fed," so you naturally believe it. And I also find it very interesting that you were talking about celery juice, because I know I've heard some people say that celery juice has helped them with their odor. So I'm curious, like, since you were talking about it a little bit, do you feel like there's a difference in reactions, or there's less
I don't
reaction?
know. You know what? I don't notice that, but I'll tell you what. The first thing, like the very first night that I did it, or for first day I did it, that night when I went to bed, I had chills, and I didn't know. I was like, "What is that?" And so when I was reading, I got the celery book and I was reading it, and it said that, your liver, if you have the chills, it could be your liver detoxing. Um, the most benefit that I get out of it, this is weird, but cognitive.
Mhm.
Like, I have a lot more clarity. I think maybe You know, sometimes like when you're so focused mentally on, you know, trying to control everything around you, you lose sight of trying to pay attention to, you know, the little things. And um, I don't know, like it's just a lot more clarity now. That's
Mm.
the main thing I got from it so far. But I'm into it, like I said, I guess about 5 months. So we'll, you know, hopefully be able to tell sooner than later. There are a lot of good benefits in it. I mean, I don't want to really promote it because it comes through a guy that like in the medical medium. I don't know if you read anything about him, but like he has this whole other side where he talks to the spirits and you know, right. So that's why I just say that I juice the celery. There's a lot of Facebook pages on it though, and you can actually hear stories from other people who are a year or two in and have recovered from a lot of like Epstein-Barr, eczema, psoriasis, acne, um, a lot. There's a lot of stories, a lot of good stories.
Well, all they're doing is just drinking celery juice for their diet.
Um, so if you drink it first thing in the morning, um, there is in the book. I lent the book to somebody, unfortunately, but in the book it does tell you like basically not that he's promoting you be a vegetarian, but like if you're having health issues, you do this 16 ounces in the morning on an empty stomach. And then he'll say, you know, throughout the day, these are the vitamins that he recommends, like B12,
Hmm.
lemon balm, herb, cat's claw. There's certain other things that he'll say, like, if you're doing this alongside of it, you're going to get the better benefits, but you'll benefit from celery juice by itself anyway. He
Is he
believes he believes it's very potent all the way around.
is he a naturopath?
He is, I honestly don't know if he has any degrees behind his name. I just know, let me see something because um, called Life Changing Foods.
Hmm.
Let me, it's, no, it just, oh, wait a minute. No, it just says Anthony William. It doesn't say,
Anthony William.
yeah, I don't see anything behind his name.
Anthony William, life-changing foods.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading now. And it's so kind of cool because, like, he'll tell you like if you like if like let me see if I can go to like if I found like oranges. um you know what, let me,
Life-changing food. Is his channel called the Medical Medium?
yes.
Hmm. So this guy, celery juice can save your life. Now, yeah, and it's funny because I actually let me switch back to here. Yeah, it's funny because I'm not really doing just celery juice. I actually just create like vegetable smoothies and I include celery and I include cucumbers and spinach and stuff. And I try to drink that because of the chlorophyll content. Um, so I also feel like that, vegetables also like reduce your odor. But if you still eat, junk food and stuff, it's not really going to balance out. I think
It's
you
not
have
going to
to have a
help.
majority diet of that. That's why I'm actually trying to do keto, where you just eat just fats, healthy fats, vegetables, and protein, but you're supposed to only eat like less than 30 grams of carbs.
Oh
Only,
really?
yeah. I actually had an interview with a guy named Jens Langer, and he suggested doing a keto diet because he felt that he had his theory that gram-negative bacteria is the reason why a lot of us smell. So he suggested that a diet of just eating vegetables and some protein might reduce it. So that's why I'm trying to do that. But I do find it very fascinating that you that you think celery juice, or you feel that celery juice helped you with your mental
Well, I
clarity?
think mostly beyond the clarity, I could say like the second thing that I'm starting to get now is regular every day. Like that's another issue that I had, that I'm not regular, and that's starting to happen for me. So I kind of feel like, I don't know how we got so far away from, um, when we were growing up, there were six kids. So like my mom, like we would have like meat and potatoes every night. And when I moved out, I'm like, I'm never gonna eat another potato again, because we had them every night. Like,
Hmm.
they're so important. I mean, people say, "Oh my God, the white! Oh, it's a white. Don't eat the white." Like, listen, there's so much good in a potato that like we're not really thinking about. Like, if we really want to maintain this somehow, or start to find out like what helps or what doesn't help, I think we need to start moving away from all this minimizing of, oh, don't do that because there's sugar in it. Oh, don't do that because, you might get a reaction. Well, sometimes you might have to react a little bit, and find out for a week or two if, are you getting any result? Is it worth suffering through it a little bit to see if, yeah. So that's kind of how I'm handling it. Like, I'm not happy about the sugar in the oranges, but I know that it has a lot of other stuff in it. And I feel better. Like, every day I do celery, oranges, and pineapple. And compared to 6 months ago, physically, I just feel like I'm in a better spot.
Oh, I got a question from the chat, or I guess it's a question. Yeah, from Goodney Booga. She says, or I guess it's she. It sounds like she's trying an intense regimen as far as diet. Is she only going on reactions from strangers?
Um, I mean, most people around me, like you can tell when somebody's like, rubbing their nose, starting to sniff, move away. It's people that I know and strangers. I mean, it's both. And you know I mean, I eat other things. Like, I don't want you to think like this is what I've incorporated. Like, my breakfast is like oatmeal with an organic apple. Um, and I'll have a cup of coffee, but like I grind my own bean, and I don't put dairy in it or anything. Um, then lunch is like, everybody else. You try to have a salad, or some vegan kind of, chicken patty, or dinner's my worst, because I think that's when I do, when I'll have a chicken or turkey, and I just don't think I digest it. I really don't.
Hmm. So do you feel like you have digestive problems?
I think sort of like how you were doing that interview with, how do you say his name? Jens?
Oh, Jen, yeah, Jens Lager.
You know how he spoke about like the E. coli being in the small intestine area? Like, I feel like it's that. Like, I feel like I have a slow digestion. I have like, where I know that like I would eliminate differently, that it's not been like that for a long time. And honestly feel like my small intestine is not working the way that it's supposed to, and it's making everything have a longer process. So if
Mm.
that's where the smell's coming from, I don't know. But like, when he said that, I kind of thought, like, it just kind of made sense. My colon's good. I mean, I had two different doctors check it.
Mm. I did want to ask you, so when you decided to quit school, what was your next? I don't know if I asked you that. What was your next step afterwards? Because I was trying to ask you. I think you were like married at the time. So
Hmm.
when you quit abruptly, I think you would have probably told your husband about it, and
Right.
he probably would ask you, "Oh, so why'd you just quit school?" And I think you would tell him, "Oh, because
I
you."
told him I wanted to focus on getting pregnant.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Because in the beginning of it, it's sort of like, for me, I think I just really was having denial. Like I really was thinking like, this is just something weird happening near me. I don't
Mm,
know what it is, but yeah, like, you know how we go through that? It's like, I was really in denial about it.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't until I read it in that magazine that I was like, there were a lot of years where I wouldn't say a lot of years in denial, a lot of years that I was just like, is this really happening? Like, like, I guess because I didn't understand it, it just made me feel disconnected, like sad.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, like what year did you find out about TMAU? I know you said you read
It's
a
been,
magazine
I want
article
to say like 8 or 10 years now.
8 or 10.
So I guess 44, around that time.
Mm. Hmm. Well, but you did say you went back to school.
No,
Oh no.
no.
Mm. So after school, you just became just a stay-at-home mom for
Yes,
till now.
yes,
So it's very rare that you actually go outside or have to go to the public or go to public events.
right. Yep,
But I'm pretty sure you do have to go to like the school to pick up
yes,
your daughters or go to parent teacher meetings and stuff.
yes. And it's tough. It's like it's not where I want to be. And so, like, I don't eat and I take the charcoal, and I don't like to take the charcoal. I mean, from what I understand, it clogs our organs. It's really not good for us. But
Yeah.
it's the only thing I think that will help me in a pinch like that. I don't know what it's doing. It's binding, I guess, and maybe it's mind over matter. I don't know, but it's what I do to get through.
And I guess you noticed that it helped you, or you
It
just feel like it
seems, yeah, it does seem like it feels like to me like there's less reactions. I
helps.
shouldn't say symptoms, reactions is the word because like I said, I can't smell.
Well, I got some other questions in the chat from Beautiful Brown Chick. She asked, has she ever had hot flashes or problems where she gets overheated?
Just recently, yes.
Mm. And within these hot flashes, do you feel like you get worse reactions, or do you feel like there's moments because you said you have menopause and you think this is at its worst state now,
Yeah.
like during hot flashes, do you feel like the odor gets worse or the condition you get more reaction?
It may, I don't know, but I think it does, yes. Like the way I feel about it, yes.
Mm. And I know, well, we talked about this off camera. You said that your daughter possibly has odor issues as well. Um,
Yes.
so do you feel like okay? So you feel like it was you have like some type of your odor is like diet related. Do you feel like possibly your daughter has diet related odor issues, or is this just like just regular body odor?
Body odor.
So
And
you feel like,
I think it's around the cycle. I think it's related to that.
and you said she's in high school, so I guess she's like 14 or 15.
Yeah, 14.
Hmm, that's very interesting. So I guess you're very fearful because of the fact that you might have passed this,
Very,
passed it on
very.
to her,
Yeah.
which is it's going to be pretty bad, especially at the age of 15 or 14, because like with 33 or 34, you still had a pretty good life, but once
Yeah.
it hits like 14, 15, you're just starting out, you know.
Yep.
So, wow. Um, I do want to ask you, so since you were talking about activated charcoal, are there any other things that you've noticed helped or at least alleviated some?
Um, I take the B2. The B2, like, I don't know really if it helps or not, but I just noticed, like, I take it like in a caplet form, and it's like when I urinate, there's like an odor to it. So I think of it as like a pull, like a pulling. That's what I tell myself. I don't really know what's
Yeah,
happening.
it could possibly be that, or it could just be the fact that you're just excreting the excess amount
Yeah.
of vitamins. Because I think I remember hearing an article about like if you take too many vitamins or minerals, you usually excrete it through your urine or your feces. So it's not like,
It only happens when I take the B2 though. It's funny, like if because I'll take a break from it. I'm always trying to trick my body, and so what else do I take? The B12. Oh, I did the I got a B complex from because John, however you say his name, he said about the B1, which I never heard of before. Thiamine, I think that's
vitamins.
how you say it. So I'm taking that now. I have a whole cabinet full. I'm trying to think what else I take. Oh, so around my meals, like before I eat, I always take marshmallow root or slippery elm, just just to help like digest the food. Or um, what else?
I
Probiotics. I'm always trying different
was going to
probiotics.
ask you that.
Yeah,
Um, do you feel like probiotics help or do
not
anything for
really.
you?
I never really got a good I don't feel like anyway. But I like right now, like I'm not taking them, and then like I'll buy one offline and I'll go at it for 30 or 60 days, and then I'll take a break again. Because the thing that worries me about doing all this stuff is like if it's already if if my digestion is already off kilter, like I don't know if I'm making it worse. I think that's what's really making me go towards the fruit and the vegetables because it's like I think like I've tried all of these over the years, so many different things, pills especially, lots of supplements, and to my knowledge, I never noticed that I got any kind of relief for a long period of time.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think probiotics ever hurt you at all. The only thing that possibly does hurt you is antibiotics. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely with you with the fact that you have so much, you just have so much supplements, so much different products that you heard on the internet. Oh, this gave me relief, and then you buy it, and then it didn't do anything. You just
Yeah.
wasted $20. Um, so yeah, that's a thing. But I don't think any of most of those things that are the typical things that you were just suggesting actually hurt you. I think it is like I've heard of a slippery elm and marshmallow. I don't think that hurts you. I think it's supposed to ease your digestive.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so I don't think any of those things would hurt. But I definitely agree that having just those fruits and vegetables, getting get minerals out of fruit and vegetables as opposed to synthetic vitamins and stuff like that, capsules. Are,
As a comparison, like I actually try to take minerals in a liquid form. It was $35. It was a bottle. Dear God, I mean, it was bad. I like the reactions that I got were really bad. So that's another thing. I'm thinking like if I'm breaking it down into a juice form, at least it's in a way that my body can handle it. I think it's not as like much all at once. It's sort of like to me that's what it feels like, a little bit at a time.
hmm, hold on a second. I did want to ask you this: have you ever tried to take digestive enzymes because you did feel
Yep.
that your body's not breaking down the food properly, or at least for meat?
Yeah, I've done enzymes, triphala. I've done it all.
Mm.
I've had a lot of years to do it all. So yeah, I've done it all. I was like literally like writing stuff down because I was like, okay, oh my God, it's been so long. And I'm like, I couldn't believe when I was writing it down, like all the stuff that I've actually, I've been through. It's unbelievable.
Hmm. Well, I do want to ask you this: if someone if someone wants to contact you, is it okay that I give out your email?
Sure. Yes.
And you want me to give it to the iCloud one?
Yes.
All right, hold on a second. And while I'm actually grabbing this information, is there any, let's say there is someone who has similar experience to you and they identify with a lot of what you're saying. Is there any like wisdom or insightful thoughts you would like to tell the person?
I mean, I just feel like we're all human and we're just all trying to have our best life. And, I don't think that we should, when I read those things on Rare Connect, I'm always trying to give good advice and just say, like, listen, we're all in this together and we're trying to help each other. And, just change your diet a little bit at a time. Don't try to do everything overnight because you won't succeed. It's too hard. Slow and steady, and, pay attention to the things that, like, if you're seeing really bad reactions, what did you eat or what did you put on your body? Or, like, um, pay attention so that you don't have to feel, so vulnerable to other people's, negative behavior.
Hmm. And I also want to tell the chat, like, if there's any final questions you want to ask Katie, right now is the time to ask her. Um, so overall, you do feel like you have TMAU. What possibly made you, have you ever considered going and doing tests like a urine test or anything like that?
So I just recently was telling you about the what was that show? Chasing the Cure or a Diagnosis, one of them where there's a there's a lab. I don't know if you ever looked that up in Italy. I was telling you about where they do extensive metabolic testing. I was going to look a little bit more into that and try to reach out to them. Um, I kind of feel like it's not that I don't want to test for it. It's just sort of like I want more of an answer on how to fix it. It's sort of like I don't know if it's going to do anything for me to know yes or no if that's what I have. I'm
Hmm.
more trying to fix the problem.
Right. But definitely, if you do get some type of confirmation that you have TMAO, like now you know for a fact that choline is the biggest thing that's
Oh,
causing you to give this odor. So now you have the ability to, I don't know, have a better regimen or routine to stay away or just to limit the amount of choline. Because if you
yes.
actually drop to zero, like, that's bad for your health.
It's not good. Yeah, your body needs it. So I don't, that's the other thing. Like, I don't try to, I'm not a strict vegan. I'm not going to be a strict vegan. I'm not going to eliminate everything that, especially things that have other nutrients that my body needs. I'm going to go in this direction for a while and just see what happens. And I think what I'm going to do once this is in my system, maybe about 9 months, I'm going to invest in a different type of sauna that is infrared. The heat is a little bit more deeply penetrating through the skin. And with a better diet and that different type of sauna, I'm thinking, I wonder, if I'll get any, results with it.
I do have a question here from Kevin James, and he asked you, does she exercise?
Um, yes, like not every day. I've done that where I thought, okay, let me do this, aerobic, bike, treadmill kind of thing. I feel like I never got a benefit from it. It's the same type of routine. I get a shower and, within an hour or two, it resurfaces. I've never got a benefit from it, but I'm not like I'm active. I'm not, I just don't, you won't, I can go for a mile walk and it won't bother me one bit, but I'm not going to get on the treadmill and run to break a sweat for this disease because it doesn't change anything for me. For me, it doesn't.
Hmm. Hmm. Because for me, I know, or I've noticed that whenever I sweat it out, like, I don't know, in the morning, I do bike riding and I sweat, and then I take a bath. I get less reactions as opposed to not doing any exercise at all and just taking a bath. Uh,
Really.
yeah, so that's why I feel like it. Well, at least for me, it helped. So I don't know.
Do you
But
put anything in your bath?
no, I just take a shower.
Oh. No, because Epsom salts, I've heard that that helps too. If you saw that where people are using like malic acid in the tub with tomato juice and that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
that's good
I've
to
heard
know.
of that. I heard of the tomato juice, putting tomato juice in a bath.
Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but I do know with the Epsom salt, it does help me too. Like like how you do with the exercise. I get it seems like it helps. I don't know if it's like cleansing the epidermis to a point where maybe when and if there is smell coming through, it's just less potent. The Epsom salt definitely does do something though.
Doesn't Epsom salt have like magnesium inside of it?
Yes. But
And
I think salt in itself is very cleansing. It has a lot of properties where it's like uh, cleansing to the skin.
mm, maybe I should try it. I do have another comment from Xerxu, and he asked, "Does she feel tiny farts escaping?"
I've always had an issue with that. Like I went through long periods of time with no gas at all. So to gas or to not gas is the question. Because what I do is, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, but like I'll eat a fiber one brownie where it has the 5 grams of fiber in it when I feel like if gas is building because it does. Yeah, I need that extra fiber to keep things moving. Otherwise, no air comes out. I don't know what that's about, but uh, without the fiber, no gas.
Hmm. Okay, and at this moment, I don't see any other comments or questions. Um, so I thank Katie for stopping by and telling
Thank
her
you.
story. I thank people from the chat for asking questions and tuning in. This is the 24th interview for Friday Night TMAU PATM Body Odor interview. And I guess we will end it right now. See you
All
guys
right.
later.
Good night.